Previously on Funny Science Fiction.
First off, I just have to commend you. I love that in the same sentence you used my daughter and gateway drug with Star Wars. That power to you.
Hi, this is Francois Chau, and welcome to the Funny Science Fiction Podcast.
The podcast where what if becomes what is, or what the heck?
I'll do you one better. Why if?
All right, so our guest today is a veteran actor and a voice actor who you've probably seen or heard in shows like Lost, The Expanse, The Tick. Maybe you've heard his voice in the XCOM game series and even some really cool retro G.I. Joe stuff because, you know, G.I. Joe. Anyway, so I'm very excited and very honored to have the opportunity to welcome Francois Chau to our show today as our guest.
Hi, guys, everybody. Yo, Joe.
Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Yeah, welcome to the show, Francois. Excited to have you on here, honestly. We had an opportunity to talk with Joshua Schubart and Michael.
Oh, okay.
Michael Cerverus. There it is. Thank you.
I was
on the
helpful.
Show. You were helpful because I was going to slaughter his last name.
That's it. That's all the helpful we get, though. I'm done.
There it is. Yeah, but we'll take it. So we had an opportunity to talk with them about their time on the Tick, and so I'm a big fan of the show. So I'm really excited to have you on tonight and talk with you a little bit about that. We'll talk about some of the other stuff that you've done over your career, and we'll give you a few minutes here, certainly, to talk about anything you've got upcoming as well. But one of the things that we always like to do with our guest, Francois, is to talk about their backgrounds, their influences, kind of what helped them to become the person that we have, sitting in front of us today. So if you don't mind, would you tell us about what some of your science fiction influences were as a young man that helped you along your way? And are there fandoms that you still follow today?
Okay, so I am probably, I would say I am a child of television. I have probably watched more TV and movies than maybe all you guys put together, but that's not a challenge there. Okay. When I first came to the States, I was, I would say I think I was about 7 years old, maybe. And TV was it. And basically that's how I learned to speak English, is watching my favorite of all time so far, Star Trek original series. And along with that, all the other stuff that was showing in the 60s, Star Trek, what else? Wild Wild West, Batman, Lost in Space, all sorts of anything I could watch, I ended up watching. So that's sort of my big. I had loved TV and movies since I was a kid, and I've been lucky enough to be able to do it now until now.
That's cool.
That is cool. It's such a cool way to learn English too. I mean,
yeah, when you're a kid, you pick up things pretty fast. So luckily, because when I came to this country, all I spoke was French.
Okay.
And then I had to go to bilingual school for like a year or so before my English got good enough to join in with the rest of the crowd.
When you think about it, it's kind of interesting to think of Star Trek as like a 1960s and 70s Rosetta Stone.
Yeah.
You learned English from William Shatner.
See, and I can't speak like him.
Exactly.
But so can everybody else.
But you learned how to be expressive with your English that way.
That's a nice way of saying the William Shatner School of Acting.
Yes, I love the original Star Trek, but Shatner's overacting is one of. I mean, that's sort of what makes the show.
Yeah, exactly. You watch him now in the original shows, and I watch it and I go, wow, how did he pull it off?
Mm-hmm.
Because shoot, you buy it totally, but you watch him and you go, wow, that's commitment.
Yeah, definitely.
There's the Shatner drinking game now. when it's time.
Really?
If you're watching an older version of Star Trek, and every time Shatner overacts, you're supposed to take a shot.
And that's how you die of alcohol poisoning.
That is how you die of alcohol poisoning. Especially if the Enterprise is going through some turbulence or is under fire. Yeah, you're done.
Your chairs are shaking. You're done.
No. It's, the best. I thought. Well, I don't know. I would say maybe not overacting. Maybe it's just the how acting styles will change through the eras. I would give it to him that was the style that he was.
I could see that.
He was good at it.
Yeah, the 50s, 60s, and 70s were definitely more over dramatic on some of the things that they did. They were more expressive, more,
Yeah.
I mean, he still did it a little bit in Boston Legal, but I think that was also the character in Boston Legal was a little over the top.
Yeah. He's I mean, who would have thought, right? After Star Trek, I mean, he was Captain Kirk, and then of course he did all sorts of stuff. After that, T.J. Hooker, and but that his career would be, the Boston Legal stuff came along and
still going strong at 90.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Good times. You can get them.
So, Francois, I know you best from your time on Lost, and I watched all of Lost. I loved it, even when it made absolutely no sense. I loved it. Tim and I actually host another podcast together, and we got to talk to Mark Pellegrino on that show.
Right.
We didn't talk about Lost a lot, but I want to talk about your character, Dr. Chang. So you went from being in the Dharma Initiative films to being on the island with the rest of the cast in season 5.
Right.
So how big of a change was that for your character? And do you have memorable experiences from that transition?
It was kind of, the big change was when we filmed Lost. It might be one of the first series that these days everybody's secretive and there's security and there's this and that, and nobody wants anything to be leaked to on the internet and stuff like that. When they started filming Lost, I think it was especially once the series became very popular, everything was my stuff was usually given to me like the night before, and it was just my thing, my stuff. I was never given the whole script. So I would just I would learn my stuff and I would do it. And what interesting thing is that after a few seasons, once he got once the character sort of appeared, I guess in real life on the island, and you started learning a little bit more about him, I thought I would read it and I'd go, wow, he's kind of a jerk.
Yeah, he was.
I was going to say something else, but
that's good. We understand jerk.
And I go, wow, I didn't realize how much. I guess I'm stuck. I guess I got to be this guy from now on. And it was nice change to finally, people always ask me, oh, so how is it working with these cast members and this and that? And I mean, the first, I would say up until I think season 4.5, 5, before he appeared, I never met anybody. I didn't see anybody. And it was nice to finally sort of meet some castmates and talk to a real person across from you, as opposed to just doing those orientation videos.
Right.
But it was hey, I missed my trips to Hawaii.
I'm sure
all that time, man. That was great. It's great.
That would be the
rough
definite
work environment,
right? That would be the definite perk to working on Lost is trips to Hawaii.
Yeah. No, when I first got the job, I was like, yeah, right, here we go. And then they called and said, here, your call time is you're going to be tomorrow at 5 p.m. and you're going to the Burbank Studios. I was like, what do you mean? What Burbank Studios? I thought we were going to Hawaii. He said, no. This is, we're just going to go film a little bit in the studio. I was like, oh man. And it was like, it wasn't until I think the third time we did it that we finally started doing it in Hawaii.
Honey, unpack the bag. We're just going up.
I know.
We're just going to LA. Never mind.
Not that exciting yet.
So there's often something that we tend to hold dear to our hearts, whether it was a saying or an experience that changed how we do things. Was there like a character or an experience that changed how you viewed your career?
You know, I would have to say definitely. Let's see, I'm trying to think of how long I've been doing this. It's got to be some 40 plus years. And I waited 40 plus years to finally be able to play Walter in The Tick. Because that is like that turns out that is my favorite all-time gig. Once when I read the script and I thought, this is kind of fun. But once I got cast and I was doing it was just sort of like there was no effort. It was just, hey, it's like, I don't know, it's like breathing. I just kind of stepped into it, and it was just so much fun doing that character that that's it. That's the change for me.
What was it about Walter that?
Well, Walter basically is neat. He's like a kind of a schlubby, just sort of boring guy who was kind of didn't really, I mean, I'm usually the bad guy, usually the villain, right? And I've done a gazillion episodic TV shows where it's always, hey, I'm the crime lord, or I'm the drug lord, or whatever. It's always, kill MacGyver, kill, whoever's whatever show I was doing at that time. And then The Tick came along, and it was just like, wow. First of all, the first season, like I said, he was just this nice guy, and then there's a little twist at the end, and then the second season you find out that he's a little more than he is. Oh geez, I hope I'm not spoiling anything.
No, you're doing fine.
You're good.
But it turned out great. It was just like I said, it's just it's basically me.
I do love Walter's character. I love how in the first season, especially in some areas, he just comes off as so oblivious to certain things around him, like the book signing for the dog. I laughed so hard. God. He's sitting there talking to Arthur, and he's just like, do you already have this book, or I didn't know you were coming. It was just, and and Arthur's in full. I absolutely loved that.
I think one of the things I liked about him is that he's so earnest, and there's not it's not like he's not putting on anything. He's not being whatever. It's just, oh my God, it's midnight, and I'm here, and it's just so exciting, and oh my God.
Your reaction to the slippers at the birthday party.
Oh yeah,
fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Oh, I've always wanted these. These are that was there was like almost if that wasn't genuine happiness, you really did very well at portraying it, because that looked like you were actually getting a present. I'm the only thing I'm bummed about is because we didn't get a season 3. I was kind of hoping that I would find out what the whole thing with Walter, and how's your feet? Are your feet okay? Or I have no idea what that is. That'd have been great. Yeah. So, Francois, the first credit that IMDb shows for you is your time on G.I. Joe as Quick Kick as a voice actor. But as we all know, IMDb is not infallible and can often be wrong. But on the off chance that IMDb is correct, and that is the G.I. Joe work is in fact your first foray into acting professionally, as far as that's concerned. Could you tell us how that work with G.I. Joe came about for that to be your first gig? And what was, for all of our G.I. Joe fans, what would you say was your most favorite thing about being part of that G.I. Joe universe?
In this case, IMDb is correct. That was my first professional gig. I had moved to LA a few months before that to try to get work in film and TV, and I was lucky enough. Got a commercial agent, and they sent me on this audition. They said, "Hey, go. It's a voiceover thing. The character is this guy who's I guess his shtick was that he did the really bad impressions of kind of old movie stars, right? Like Don Wayne and Humphrey Bogart and stuff like that. So I said, okay, I think I can do a bad impression of those guys. So I went, I auditioned, and didn't think anything about it. And then a few days later, they said, "Hey, you got the job." I was like, "Yeah, oh my God, this is great." It was, I would say, it was, of course, very exciting, but also very, very just what's the word? It's like being thrown into the deep end of the pool, because at that time, voiceover people, there was a very small group of voiceover actors who basically did everything you ever saw. Yeah. I mean, and it was a very tight group. Everybody knew each other. They all had, they all did all this stuff. And so there they were, and I come in there, and I'm like, geez, I know I never done anything like that before. So it was very intimidating, and it just took a little time for me to get my sea legs and just kind of do it with them. And even now, I don't think I would. I mean, I'm still. I would never say that I got really. People always say, "Hey, this person's an actor. This person's a voice actor." It's not really. I mean, we're all actors. They just, those guys just manage to just do voiceover stuff, and it's an amazing talent to be able to do. And I still can't. Most of my voiceover stuff is it's basically me, my voice. Well, those guys, I mean, the legendary like Frank Welker and Michael Bell and all those guys, they can say, "Oh, make the sound of a rocking chair," and they would give you like 3 different sounds of a rocking chair, and you just sit there and go, "What the heck is that?"
We had the opportunity to talk to Michael Bell, and he is just incredible. I don't know how he does half of those voices.
It's amazing, It's just it's a talent that I think you have it, and then you develop it and you work it, and man,
grow on it. It's incredible.
Yeah.
So
he's a ton of fun.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, you're good. He was a ton of fun, and got me in trouble, but that's a different story. I'm not supposed to mention that anymore because my mother gets mad at me. Anyway.
So anyways, Kathleen can't bring it up, but I can. So
that's right. Kathleen... See, Mom, it's Tim's fault this time, not mine.
She doesn't have an address to my house. I'm good. So anyway, so he was on Darkwing Duck, and he did the voice of Quackerjack on that. And when Kathleen was younger, she told I almost said an evildoer, somebody that she was around, and told an adult to suck gas, evildoer. And her mother didn't appreciate that, so pretty much told her she couldn't watch the show anymore. And Quackerjack was her favorite character, and so he came on, did the whole voice. He spoke, something about to Kathleen's mother.
Mom, you want to play?
Yeah. And then did the laugh and the whole 9 yards. And of course, we made that a highlight and put that out for not only Kathleen to enjoy, but her mother as well.
Because my mom is a loyal listener, and I'm going to be in.
Hi, Kathleen's mom.
Hi, Kathleen's mom.
I am grateful that she is as supportive of my crazy endeavors as she is. But so anyway, so Francois, when I was younger, we didn't have a gaming console, so I grew up playing PC video games. Right. And in the mid-90s, the near movie quality cutscenes were the very in thing with those video games. So what do you remember about playing Lieutenant Winston Vagabond Chang in Wing Commander 3 and 4?
Yeah. it was, it was great because right before that, I think I did one sort of video game, and at that time, technology was not whatever it was like. I think I stood in front of this screen and I said my lines, and then I would turn right, say my lines. I would turn left and say my lines. And that was my basic role in whatever video game I did at that time. So then I got Wing Commander, and man, well, I didn't realize how popular it was at first. But then, you go there and there are all these like real actors in it. And the first one was a lot of green screen stuff, but it was still, you had characters that you would be talking to, and you had whole scenes to perform. And the second one was basically we're shooting a movie with like practical sets and special effects and everything. It was just like, wow, this is great. So it was. They sent me the game, and I got on my PC, and I didn't have a whatever you call it, a joystick or whatever to fly the missions. And I didn't. Of course, I'm on the keyboard, and 2 seconds in, I'm like, oh, I just got killed. But, okay. and I couldn't. And it was one of those games where you can't move on if you're dead, right? So I never knew what was going on. I was just like, oh, I got killed. Okay, sorry. I never saw any of those scenes. It was like, oh, dang. But it was great. It was just it was an amazing experience.
So you mentioned there being some pretty big celebrities on set, and one of those big names is Luke Skywalker himself, Mark Hamill.
Himself, yeah.
That's pretty cool. I mean, not everybody gets to share screen time with Mark Hamill. We would all love to.
You have my attention.
Somebody sent me a picture. There's a screen grab of there's me, there's Mark Hamill, and there's God, he's gonna kill me because I'm gonna not say his real name, but Biff. Biff from Back to the Future.
Oh yeah.
Tom. Anyways, there's a shot of the three of us just hanging out at the bar or something, right? And I'm like, first of all, I'm going, wow, look how young we were. But yeah, there was, Malcolm McDowell, John Rhys Davies, all these great actors that somehow they managed to corral into doing this game. So
Tom Wilson.
Yeah. Tom Wilson. Yes, thank you.
So just as a personal curiosity, being on set with Mark Hamill, being on set with these big names, did you guys ever have anything resembling a lightsaber duel because you're with Mark Hamill?
No, we I don't know if, well, not while I was there, but maybe when they were they were doing other scenes. No, because let's see, that was 94, right? And when did the first 3 Star Wars were already history, and the next set, I don't know when they came out, but
it was between the original trilogy and the prequels,
right? So Star Wars was sort of in a it was sort of in the valley of,
right, because Wing Commander 3 came out in 94,
right?
Tim, what year did Phantom Menace come out?
99.
Yeah, so Mark Hamill was still Luke Skywalker, but not as popular as he is now, obviously. But
it was kind of a low point for Star Wars.
Yeah,
the Dark Ages.
Sad face.
Yeah.
Tim's
but
like,
yeah,
no,
man, you guys
no
are
Dark Ages.
bringing back memories. Wing Commander, no.
We like to be nostalgic on the show. It's good for us. As long as it doesn't make Tim cry, we're all good.
Yeah.
So as a kid, I always thought certain things I saw on TV would always be a much bigger problem than they actually are. For me, it was the quicksand. It was always the quicksand. So what problem or situation did TV or movies make you think would be common, but when you grew up found out it wasn't?
I've done a lot of bad guys. And after, people always say, oh, it's so much more fun being the bad guy than the hero guy or whatever. Being the hero guy is so boring. Being the bad guy is great. And, after a while, being the bad guy is it's not that great, because you just kind of go, your character does certain things, and it's hard to you not think about what you're doing. Obviously, you have to kind of divorce yourself. Basically, you're not that person. But when you're playing like a murderous drug lord or something, it's I kept thinking, wow, is this fun to be just kind of a bad guy ordering people killed and doing bad things? I never understood why people think that it's fun to do that. But maybe it's just me. Now, would you guys like to go, be a bad guy and pull out your gun and mow people down?
No, thank you. No.
It's
a weird thing. It's a weird thing. I'm sure I'm the only one who thinks that,
But now all I can think of is the guy from Wreck-It Ralph. Just because I am bad guy does not make me bad guy.
Yeah.
I was doing that. I don't know if I'd want to be the bad guy, but I wouldn't mind being the girlfriend on the bad guy's arm.
Yeah. But you have to understand, we're never the bad guys. We just do things that people think is bad.
Right.
I mean, there's always, nobody goes around going, hey, I'm the bad guy. I know this just to be bad. We just, we have to do these things, and you guys just don't understand. That's all.
Right. Just seeing things from a different angle.
There you go.
It reminds me of Megamind, how he was like, I'm the bad guy, and he's like, but then he actually wins, and then he's like, well, now what? Now what do I do?
Yeah, exactly.
Now I'm the good guy. So that whole response there from you, Francois, actually leads into my next question, kind of interestingly, because you've been tied into a lot of shows and universes over the year. We've mentioned some of these already at the outset. We've asked you questions about some of them, but one of them that I did not mention in the introduction was and I did this on purpose because I wanted to save it special for this question, was your inclusion into the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles world. In 1991, you played Shredder, a bad guy, in the movie The Secret of the Ooze. So, I mean, you've already talked about this to some extent, so I don't want to dip back into it too much here. But what about let's rephrase this question, because you've already talked about how you don't really enjoy being the villain, the bad guy. But so let's take it from this aspect. To play Shredder in TMNT, what did you need to do to get yourself ready to play that particular villain?
Basically, I have to say nothing really, because
fair enough.
The first movie I watched, I thought, oh, this is great. This is a lot of fun. It was a little dark, and when I got the part for the second movie, I thought, oh, okay, this is going to be, at least I'll have some fun, because I've been a martial artist most of my life, and I thought, oh, I'll get to do some fun stuff, fighting these guys and this and that, and a lot of stunts and things. And it turns out that the second movie, they decided the first movie was a little too dark for kids, and the second movie they basically turned into like a Nickelodeon show kind of thing.
Yes, it is.
It was like a little more wacky, and all the violence and action was pretty over the top.
Ice. Vanilla Ice. Vanilla Ice.
And
anyway,
ice. And then the character of the Shredder basically didn't do anything but ordered people He just stood there and goes, "Hey, get those turtles, or hey, go destroy that town," and that kind of stuff.
Right.
So I didn't really get to do any physical stuff, which I was looking forward to. It was still fun. It was just it is amazing to me, um, its popularity, its resurgence, because
Yeah.
I've done a few cons where I would say 80% of the people who come up to me are Ninja Turtle fans, and they're all like pretty much middle-aged guys who come up and tell me, "Oh my God, you made my childhood. You scared me to death when I was a kid," or you're such a I was just my childhood was the best because of Ninja Turtles and the Shredder. I'm like, well, I'm thinking, my God, it's like one time. I mean, it's very humbling to hear stuff like that, but it's very rewarding to hear that kids, certain things when you're a kid that hits you and it just stays with you, and this was just one of those things. And I mean, believe me, there are many Ninja Turtle fans out there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sorry.
Nope.
That was a three-way tie leading into that question.
That was incredible.
All right, we couldn't do that again if we tried.
I feel like all three of us are like trying to walk through a doorway at the same time.
Yeah, go. So for me growing up, I watched a lot of the animated series, of course, and we've been fortunate enough to talk with a few of the characters from that. And I remember when the movies came out, me and my buddies were so excited. We went and saw them at the theater. We watched them. I remember when they, because back in those days, VHS.
Yes.
Wow, you're old.
You know what? Nobody likes you, Kathleen. Anyway,
I like me.
But I remember going to my buddy's
Kathleen,
house.
do you know what the beta machine is?
No.
Okay.
Oh yeah, there's some dating. Yeah, I do.
I mean,
but
I might, but no.
It's okay.
But yeah, we'd go and we'd rent the movie, and we'd have so much fun watching it, and we may have convinced ourselves that we needed to go make our own throwing stars out of the sheet metal in the garage. Kids, if you're watching, please don't do that. That is a horrible idea. Dangerous things, bad things nearly happened in life. So anyway, that's a whole nother story for another time when we're not recording. So
you also mentioned you have a martial arts background. Did you ever use like that martial arts in like performing stunts or anything like that?
No, I am not crazy enough to be a stunt person. So I'm a lot of my friends are stunt guys, and I know a bunch of them, and I'm like, I would never do what you're doing. I've had fun using martial arts in a few things, but most of the time, the producers don't let you do too much stuff because they don't want you to get hurt. So a lot of times it's my stunt double gets to do all the fun stuff. But it's once in a while I'll jump in there and look, you can see my face, so I got to do it.
Yeah, that would be the difficult thing with a stunt double. Wait, no, we're seeing your face. This part is you.
Yeah. And it's I watch all the action movies, and it's so it's very rare that you don't know that it's a stunt guy, because you see the actor, and then all of a sudden people are jumping around, and literally you don't see any of their faces, so stunt double, and then they cut back, and the guys, the girl is standing there posing and breathing, and I'm like, oh, okay.
They edited it in pretty well. So
yeah.
So talking about cons and the fact that people bring up your roles in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles from 30 years ago, that's incredible. That shows that your portrayal of that character had some real lasting value, and I think that says a lot for your skills as an actor, that it was a memorable role to them. I think that's a pretty cool thing.
Thank you. I don't know if my skills as an actor, it's basically the role itself and the story. I think I don't know. I mean, I never thought of it as, oh, this is, I guess maybe I shouldn't say this, but it wasn't the greatest acting challenge in my career, in my career, basically because all you see is my eyes and all my face is covered. So it could have been anybody. But yeah, I think it's just one of those things that hit you a certain way, and it just stays with you when you're a kid, and you put into it whatever it is that you. It's kind of like an example of just grouping back to when I was doing Lost. Mm-hmm. I would do those orientation videos, right? And they said, oh, it's just like those stupid educational videos films that you would see in school, in high school, with the very dry and they're just starting off. So I said, oh, I can do that. So that's basically what I did. But somehow a lot of people, fans would come up and say, oh man, I don't know what you did, but you were so creepy and you were so, it just creeped me out just watching those videos. And I was like, oh, that's strange. I didn't,
It's not what I was going
I wasn't
for.
I wasn't there going, I'm going to be creepy. So I think people watch it and they bring to it or put into it what they want to get out of it. And I think that's what it is with the Shredder too. It's not.
I have to say, when Tim said that we were getting to interview you, and I'm like, I know that name. Why do I know that name? And I looked you up on Google and I looked at your picture and I'm like, oh, because he's been the bad guy in this and this and this.
Yeah.
I'm like, I know that face.
If you watch enough TV, sooner or later, I'll pop up and I'm that guy. That's that guy.
Right.
There he is. That's that guy.
But it'll be cool. In the next couple of years, I'll be watching TV and I'll be like, hey, I talked to him. It'll be cool for me.
There you go.
So with all of the roles and the notable franchises that you've been attached to, you do get to spend a lot of time at cons and conventions, which I think would be pretty fun. But do you have a favorite con question that you get and the question that you wish nobody would ask ever again?
I've only started doing these cons in the last maybe a couple of years. And given that, last year it was, with COVID and everything, it was pretty much shut down. But I don't know if there's a favorite or annoying question that people ask. It's but what I found was that the first one I did was a Lost one, which was I don't know when Lost was still on, which is like over 10 years ago. I went over to London, and it was this small place outside of London, and I was very hesitant, and because I didn't know what to expect. I was like, oh my God, con signing autographs. I had visions of I'm trying to remember the movie. It was a Mickey Rourke movie where he's a wrestler, and there's a scene
called The Wrestler.
Yeah, and there's a scene where he's at a signing thing, and he's just sitting there, and nobody's there, and people are just like walking by him. That was in my head when they said, "Hey, come do this con." I just had visions of me sitting at this table, twiddling my thumbs, going, "Oh my God, nobody's going to come by here." I have to say, every fan I've met at these cons have been just amazing. It's very, like I say again, it's very humbling to meet people who are just going, who seem so excited to just go, "Oh my God, it's so great to meet you finally. I knew you were going to be here, and I drove like 4 hours to come here." I'm like, "Oh my God, what can I do to make this person happy?" kind of thing.
You drove 4 hours to see me?
Yeah, I'm like, what are you? So yeah, it's been fun so far, and it's been great just meeting the people, and I don't know if it's something I want to do, all the time, but if it comes up and I'm free, sure, why not?
Sounds good.
So our Facebook group has over 170,000 members to it.
Yeah.
And basically our group is just memes. It is this crossed with this. And so what two characters would you like to see, like two of your characters that you've played, which ones would you like to see come together to either save the world together or to be nemesis or to take over the world together?
Well, I guess I would have to say when I was shooting The Tick, at the same time I was shooting The Expanse. And Walter in The Tick and Jules Pierre-Mao in The Expanse are basically, positive, negative, opposite ends. Mm-hmm. So it would be kind of fun to bring those two guys together and see what, what comes out of it.
What the reaction is, sure.
Yeah. I mean,
right.
The Tick character is the anti-character from The Expanse, so
very much so.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Francois, we're at a point in our show where we like to take each of our guests through a little bit of a quiz.
Okay. Man, I didn't study. What? This is like
but you did.
But you already did. That's the great part. So this quiz is called The Year of Francois. So we have five questions. Mm-hmm. Each of the questions are multiple choice. Okay. So out of the 5 questions, if you get 3 questions correct, we want to send you one of these handy dandy cool I gave to the Red Shirt Widows and Orphans Fund coffee mugs. Okay.
It also has a funny science fiction podcast logo on it.
It does. Right there in the back. So, and then if you get 4 questions correct, we will send you that coffee mug along with the book by our group's founding member, Drayton Allen. It's called Dances with Aliens. Nick, do you have that right there?
I'm not at home.
We will put that up in post. We'll fix it in post. Anyway.
There will just be a floating book next to Nick's head.
There'll be a book. Just imagine there's a book that looks nothing like this one, but this is the other one called Custodians. It's book shaped. Yes. Because this one's called Custodians of the Cosmos. This is where we got the Red Shirt Widows and Orphans Fund from. Anyway, but Dances with Aliens is the new book. It's all about the last man on Earth, but he's a dog, but not a dog that goes woof, but a singing, dancing cartoon dog of the theme park variety. He was wondering how intelligent beings could develop technology to travel to cosmoses, but not recognize that he's a dog or a guy in a dog suit. So anyway,
now I got something to work for, but now it's the anxiety level has just gone up a little bit. Okay.
Well, we can make that worse.
So okay. And here's how we do that. So if you get less than 3 questions correct, if you get 1 or 2 questions correct, we'd like to take your picture, make a meme out of you, and put it into our group. We call it our fun sequence.
Okay.
You okay with that?
Sure.
Like I said, we can make the anxiety worse.
All right. So each 5 of these questions is going to be about a role that you have portrayed.
Uh-huh.
And we're going to give you the name of the show,
right?
The name of the character,
mm-hmm.
and 3 possible years.
Okay.
Yeah. And you got to pick the year. Now, again, this is all based off IMDb. So if you tell us that it's a different year than IMDb, we're going to go with you.
Okay.
Unless we know
they're all a different year.
Yeah.
He's like, no, that was all 2021. Really?
Yeah. It was. I remember it distinctly. It was
last week. I just did that. All right, go ahead, Nick.
The Flash TV series as Dr. Johnny Choi.
Mm-hmm.
Was that 1991, 93, or 95?
I will say 93.
1 is the loneliest number that you
so close.
So close. It wasn't 93?
It was 91.
According to IMDb, it's 1991. Really?
IMDb is wrong. And it wasn't Dr. Johnny Choi. It was just Johnny Choi, the gangster. Okay.
See? So,
all right.
We'll go with 93.
No, it's I thought, the 90s, they're all mushed together.
They're a giant blur for everybody. It's okay. All right, number 2.
Okay.
Beverly Hills Ninja as Izumo. Was that 1990, 1999, or 1997?
I will have to say 97.
You are correct.
Yeah.
All right.
Again, the blur of the 90s.
Yeah.
2 for 2.
So I just realized, are these when it was released, or was it when he was filming?
That's a very good question.
According to Nick, you're just a party pooper, man.
If only the person who wrote the quiz knew these things.
Nick, don't have such odd and strange questions.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Well, I mean, he could have been filming like the first question in 91. It didn't come out till 93. So,
I went with what IMDb said as he was on there.
Yeah, if it was a TV show, it would have been like, months later. So it would be. Yeah.
All right. The Tick as Walter. Was that 2019, 2012, or 2015?
Where are we? Well, it ended 2019. So I'll have to say 2019.
I'll go with that.
Okay with that.
Because 2015, I almost said 15, but that's a little too far back. We only did 2 seasons, so I think we started in 2017, and then but I could be wrong because the longer it goes, the more my memory is.
IMDb said it was 2015 for the start, but we'll give it 2019, but we'll take that as the ending. So 3 for 3.
Wow.
And we'll give you the coffee mug.
All right. Now.
All right. Question number 4.
Come on, book.
Birds of Prey as Mr. Keogh. Is that 2015, 2020, or 2017?
That's 2020.
That was 2020, and I love that movie.
Yeah.
So
we'll send you. Go ahead.
We'll send you the book.
All right. When we were rehearsing and shooting that movie, I kept trying to find a way somewhere, even when we were rehearsing, to say to Ewan, help me, Obi-Wan. You're my only hope. I could never. I'm like, I can't. There's nothing I can say that's going to fit.
Oh.
Sometimes you just got to shoehorn that bugger in.
Oh man. Yeah.
I would have just dropped a pencil in front of him.
I know.
And the question for funsies, Magnum PI as Kinney, was that 2020, 84, or 87?
Well, it's not 84 because that was the original one. It's not 87, so it's got to be 2020.
The year that wasn't.
Yeah, the year that wasn't. It's the beginning of 2020 when we shot it, I think.
Yeah.
Awesome.
A little reunion with another Expanse member.
All right. So since you went 5 for 5, we'll send you both books. We'll send you the Dances with Alien books, and we'll send you, because you are a Star Trek fan, the book that we showed you earlier, Custodians of the Cosmos, which is about a gentleman who wanted to try and enter something quite similar to Star Trek, but for legal reasons is not Star Trek. But washed out and rejoined as a custodian to boldly clean up after those who boldly just went.
Oh, I got it now. Okay.
So,
because that's the level of humor we aspire for in this show.
Who doesn't love a little bit of good toilet humor?
Well, Francois, right?
Francois.
I thought
we'll edit that out.
Just add a little Australian milk at the end there.
Hey, Francois.
Hey.
Well, Francois.
Yeah. It was good because
do the rest of that question in Australian now too.
No. We just keep going.
Well, Francois, thank you so much for being on the show today. where can our listeners go to find out more about you and what you're doing now?
You know, I guess you can go you can go on IMDb, and those little L's will just you know, somehow figure out what I've done and put it up there. I'm not you know, my wife and my friends are always on my case about, oh, you should promote yourself more. You should be on, you know, post stuff and Twitter and Instagram and stuff like that. And I'm not that guy, so I never do. You know, my parents, my dad always, you know, why didn't you tell me this was on? I could have watched it. I said, well, I don't know. I you know, it's like it's done. So nothing to really. The only thing I can sort of promote is another video game which I did at the beginning of the year, and of course I signed a gazillion NDAs, so I can't tell you anything about it except that I did a video game.
You did it, yeah.
And maybe, you know, 3 years from now it'll come out, because that's how long it takes, at least.
Video games take forever.
Man, I was doing Ghost of Tsushima, and I started it, and then they said, oh, you know, we'll be done. Your stuff is gonna be done by November or something. And then, you know, 2 years later, I'm like, hey, what's happening? Oh, we need some voiceover stuff. And then, you know, 2 months later, oh, we need some more voiceover stuff and this and that. And I finally asked the guy, so do you guys have a schedule? Do you guys have a, you know, due date or something? He goes, no, it just takes a long time, and we just do it until we finish. So, you know, which is good for them, I guess. So maybe a few years from now, we'll find out what video game I did, because I don't know what video game I did.
Fair enough.
There you go.
All right. Well, we will inform our wonderful viewers and listeners to Google you.
There you go. Google me.
When in doubt, just use Google.
Just Google me.
That's right. Google it out.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I want to remind everybody that subscribing is the single most important thing you can do to ensure that we get more amazing guests in a non-Australian way. Francois Chau here, like Francois, to come on our show, have these great conversations and have these funny moments that you can listen to. So please subscribe. It helps us more than you're ever going to know. And we want to encourage you to please go Google Francois and check out his work as well. If you go to his IMDb page, you're going to find that he's been in a lot more things than you ever really gave it credit for. And if you, for some reason, if you're not happy with the content of our show today, please feel free to lodge a complaint with the head of our complaint department, Azumo from Beverly Hills Ninja. Sure, he's only going to get half the job done, and his reign as department head will be short-lived. But keep in mind that he's got a much more aggressive crew that will not rest until they get their other side of those counterfeit plates. I mean, they won't rest until the offending parties have been dealt with, however long it takes.
Thanks
you
again.
Can believe that.
Well, thanks again, Francois. We truly appreciate having you here.
Thank you, Nick. Thank you, guys. This was a pleasure, and it was a blast. And I hope I didn't ramble on too much.
No, it's perfect.
Bye, everybody, and thanks for watching.
Bye.
Bye, guys. Bye, guys. Bye, everybody.
Our show is brought to you by our charity sponsor, the Red Shirt Widows and Orphans Fund, which supports the Witch Upon a Teen Foundation that helps out sick kids when they need it most. And just imagine the comfort you'll give Red Shirt Crewman number 68. He'll know that when he puts on the red shirt and joins the OPA against the Martians, that he didn't leave his family destitute and without hope, because the Red Shirt Widows and Orphans Fund has his back and what's left of his spacesuit.
And speaking of sponsors and show partners, check out this short video from our good friends over at Level Up Lightsabers. Information about Level Up Lightsabers and their online training sessions can be found in the episode description below.
On behalf of the rest of the hosts of Funny Science Fiction, we'd like to thank you for listening to this episode. If you'd like to be a guest on one of our future episodes, please contact us by means of our Facebook group, Funny Science Fiction. You can find us on Twitter or Instagram using the handle @FunnySci-Fi, or you can go to DraytonAllen.com and click the Contact Me link at the bottom of the page. Thanks again. Hope you enjoyed the episode.